Okay, we're recording.
Very good. Will the meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission for Wednesday, February 3rd, please come to order? This evening's meeting will be a virtual planning and zoning meeting via the Zoom platform. Our procedures will be as follows. One, when you first enter the meeting, you will be in a virtual waiting room until the meeting host admits you. Aaron Mannix and I will serve as co-hosts for this meeting. Two, please be aware that your camera, if you have one, and your microphone will be muted by the meeting hosts when you enter the meeting. You can turn on your camera at any time so that you can be seen by others if and when you wish to do so. In order to run an efficient and orderly meeting in this virtual environment, unless stated otherwise by the chairman during this meeting, the meeting host will keep everyone other than the commission members muted. You will still be able to hear everything said by the commission members, even if you are not muted and your camera is not on. There will be the opportunity for public comment during public hearings, at which time public participants will be unmuted. Three, the secretary will read the legal call of the meeting as published according to Governor Lamont's Executive Order 7B. Four, during the public hearing, the applicant will be invited to present the application, explaining to the commission and others present what is being requested. The meeting host will share all related documents on the screen as needed. In addition, all applications and supporting materials for each application on the agenda are available through the public meeting calendar page on the town website, www.ci.guilford.ct.us, and also through a direct link on the planning and zoning page. Five, comments of town agencies will be read for each application if there are any. There will be clarifying questions from commissioners. Six, there will then be the opportunity for clarifying questions from the audience. Please raise your hand through the Zoom platform and wait to be called on and unmuted. First, those who wish to support the application may come forward. Second, those who oppose the application will then come forward. As this is a public hearing, it must be recorded. It is necessary for speakers to identify themselves each time they speak by stating their name and address. Seven, the applicant will then have the opportunity to address any questions or concerns raised by the public or commissioners. Eight, once the public hearing is closed, the applicant is free to leave or remain for the balance of the public hearing and the regular meeting, during which time the commission will try and reach a decision on each application. Each applicant will be notified in writing as to the decision of this commission and has a right to appeal to Superior Court if desired. Decisions of this meeting are available the day after the meeting by calling Planning and Zoning Department at 203-453-8039 or by emailing planning.zoning@ci.guilford.ct.us after 9 a.m. 10, all decisions taken tonight by this commission will be on a roll call vote. All commissioners and staff will identify themselves for the record before speaking. Seated this evening are the following members, and I would ask you to raise your hand. Richard Wallace, Bill Freeman, Alan Brown, thank you, Scott Edmond, Jamie Stein, Frank DeAndrea, Sean Cosgrove, and I am Philip Johnson. Did I miss anybody? Are we good? We have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, Bill, you'll be the alternate on this evening, and Jamie, you'll be seated. Okay. Would someone like to make a motion to open the meeting?
Motion to open the public meeting.
Thank you.
Second.
Quick roll call vote. Richard Wallace,
Aye.
Frank DeAndrea,
Aye.
Tom Cosgrove,
Aye.
Scott Edmond,
Yes.
Alan Brown. Alan's muted. Just go, give me a thumbs up, Alan, if you're good on opening.
There you go.
Here we go. Jamie Stein,
Yes.
and I will also vote to open. So I do want to thank Steve Vergadamo for his patience. We do have a memo now from, I'm sorry, this is 122 Seaside Avenue, map 24, lot 5, Guilford, Connecticut. And let's go quickly. Stephen Vergadamo, CO Bailey Building Company, 122 Seaside Ave, map 24, lot 5, zone R3, coastal site plan application for demolition of existing house and construction of new single-family home, continued from 1/20/21. I will note also that there is no legal notice because this is a continued item on the public hearing, so we didn't have to read a public.
Correct.
We did not have to have that. Thank you, Aaron, for letting me know that. So we have a note from Sonia Marino, our public health official, dated February 1st, 2021. RE 122 Seaside Avenue, map 24, lot 5, Guilford, Connecticut. The application for a tear down rebuild for the single family dwelling at the above referenced property is for a 2-bedroom residence. A code compliant septic system has been designed and meets public health code. Approval is contingent on the septic system being installed by a licensed septic installer in accordance to the plan designed by Crisoli Engineering LLC, original plan dated 1/23/18, last revision 1/26/21. Thank you, Sonia. That was our holdup on the last meeting.
Correct.
Are there,
Just for the record, Mr. Chairman, Jim Preddy from Criscolo Engineering is here today and did submit revised drawings, which is what Sonia is referencing in her memo. So the plans have been revised since the last public hearing, and they're dated January 26, 2021.
for the heck of it, you want to throw them up on the screen? We'll just take a
Sure.
quick-
If you want to walk through what your updates were, Jim, that would be fine also.
Sure. Jim Preddy, Criscolo Engineering.
This is the septic plan.
Yes,
yeah.
and there were a few comments from Sonia that we addressed that had to do more with the design basis than really anything visual. But those were taken care of. Since the last meeting, we've added the note on the plan about backing up the silt fence with construction fencing. The stockpile location needs to be surrounded with silt fence. Prior to start of construction, erosion controls need to be inspected by the ZEO. The site shall be inspected daily to ensure construction debris has been properly disposed of. And the zoning table has been added to the plan, which is erroneously left off the last time. But we do meet all the bulk standards, as I stated previously. And that's it. The plan is essentially the same as what you've seen with the addition of those items.
Terrific.
Thank you.
Are there any questions from commissioners with respect to this application? Again, the scope of our oversight is the coastal area review. Am I right on that, Aaron?
Correct.
So, well, just want to make sure that the critical coastal resources are protected properly, and they appear to be. Are there any questions from commissioners? No. Are there any questions from the public with respect to the protection of the coastal area resources? I don't see any. Again, if your camera's not on, I'm not going to be able to see you raise your hand. So if you have a camera and you have a question, if you could raise your hand, that would be terrific. Otherwise, we will assume that there aren't any. Would anybody like to speak against this application? Would anyone like to speak in favor of it? Terrific. Would someone like to, commissioners, would someone like to make a motion to close?
Motion to close.
Thank you.
Second,
Very good. Call a quick roll call vote. Richard Wallace,
Yes.
Frank DeAndrea,
yes.
Sean Cosgrove,
Aye.
Scott Edmund,
Yes.
Alan Brown,
Yes.
Jamie Stein,
Yes.
and I will also vote to close. We will now move to deliberation of public hearings, which is our application that we discussed. Would someone like to make a motion?
So moved.
Would someone like to read a proposed motion for the
I'll have that.
application?
Voted that the Guilford Planning and Zoning Commission approve a coastal site plan application for Stephen Vergadamo for a new house at 122 Seaside Avenue, map 24, lot 5, as shown on property located at 122 Seaside Avenue. 3 sheets prepared by Criscolo Engineering dated 1/23/18, revised to 11/20/2020. Architectural plans, Stephen Vergadamo, 4 sheets prepared by Spindrift Design dated 11/24/20. The application is approved based with the following conditions. Those those provided by the town director of public of health.
In it, just to update, the date of the revised plans would be to 1/26/21.
Thank you.
And although the conditions that the environmental planner recommended are noted on the applicant's plan, I think those should also be incorporated into the conditions.
Great. Duly noted. Discussion? Any problems or questions from commissioners?
We didn't bring up the health department. There's a memo on from the planning.
We actually did read that one, and I opened up with reading that one in.
Oh, you did? I'm
I
sorry.
did. It's okay, no worries. So any problems or questions, any discussion? Then I'll call the vote. Richard Wallace,
Yes,
I should say all in favor. Richard Wallace,
yes,
that's two for you, Richard. Frank DeAndrea,
Aye.
Sean Cosgrove,
Aye.
Scott Edmund,
Yes.
Alan Brown,
Yes.
Jamie Stein,
Yes.
and I will also vote yes. Thank you for your patience, Stephen. Enjoy your project. I live relatively close and look forward to watching it. So.
Thank you for your time, folks.
Thanks, Jim.
It's a neat orientation for that lot. I hadn't seen the plans before. It's a nice layout for the home.
Yeah. So Aaron, what are we gonna go to next? CMI
Power and
Landscape?
Landscape. The applicant, Jim Petnito, is here to discuss his proposal, and I have his site plan here.
Great. Let me just read in the note quick. It's CMI Power and Landscaping Supply, 2392 Boston Post Road, map 78, lot 16, zone TS2, site plan application for outdoor display and storage of drainage supplies and landscaping material for retail sales. Action required by 2/17/21. So this is it's just a site plan application.
This is a site plan for outdoor storage.
Great.
Jim, do you want to give an overview?
Oh, we got to unmute him.
You're muted, Jim.
I got him.
There you go.
There you go.
No.
Nope, you're back muted.
How's
There
that
you
better?
There you are.
Okay. Hi, I'm Jim Petnito, CMI Power Equipment and Landscape Supply. We've been in business since 1977. We were located in North Haven. I also have a store in Bridgeport, but we decided to move our North Haven facility out to Guilford. And basically what we sell is drainage materials, landscape supplies, nothing in bulk, like bagged mulch. We're a Husqvarna dealer, a Stihl dealer, a Generac dealer. We sell anything to do with landscape and, like I said, underground utility and drainage supplies. So I would like to, in the parking lot area, there's a spot that's already existing in front of the front door that I would like to put an outdoor patio to display some outdoor furniture, maybe, and maybe a fire pit and or a pergola with an outdoor kitchen, maybe. In front of the, I would like to also put up decorative fencing along, right there, that green line right there would be decorative fencing, or PVC, stuff that can be changed or moved. It wouldn't be really permanent. For dual purposes, to display some of the PVC fencing that we sell, and also for protection and privacy for the material that's going to be stored behind it.
So this area is a storage area.
Correct. Yeah, it's a
Proposed.
party. Yeah, and that's where I would like to keep the PVC material. None of it would be, because of the fencing, would be visible from the street. All you would see is the PVC fencing.
This site slopes down in this general direction. The road is higher.
Yeah,
Jim,
considerably.
these are 3 sheds.
Yeah, sheds are like a gazebo that would not be permanent. That I would be able to move them around as necessary, just for display purposes.
And is this your proposed landscaping plan?
No, that was an existing from when Anthony's restaurant.
That's existing for Anthony's.
Yeah, when they built the banquet facility, I believe. I don't know if it was 20 years ago already or 12 years
Okay.
ago.
So CMI has a current permit to occupy the building in the banquet hall portion for retail sales. And that went in as of right as a tenant fit out permit. So this, and they have signed permits. They have gone before, Jim did go before design review, I think returned a couple times to the committee. I think one of their recommendations, or their only recommendation really, was that this fencing, rather than having alternate colors, would just be one solid fence color, either gray, white, whatever you chose would be, just rather than having it all alternate every 6 feet of different colors. It might help be a little more uniform. I don't believe they had any other comments for you, though. Jim, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, correct. They were okay with the small buildings that I was going to put out there, in the outdoor kitchen area.
Right.
Yeah, there were, because there's no I'm not altering anything on the building really. The only, alteration would be the fencing.
Right.
For
So
the
the parking
property.
that's existing on the site, this is a one, so there's a gate proposed down at the end here, that I think that's a chain link fence
Correct.
with the screening inserted in that.
If it would be, the fencing would be black. That whole area, like you said, Aaron, drops down below the street. It's not even visible as you're driving by. It's such the grade change is so drastic over such a short distance. But that would be, like I said, a black fence that you wouldn't even see the fence if it was black.
So
But-
the fire marshal, yeah, did look at this as well. These gates were acceptable.
Correct.
The only comment I had from the town engineer with respect to this gate location was that since this is a one-way, would it be better to put the gate up here in case somebody comes down here and they're stuck trying to turn around?
Mhm.
That's something to consider.
Yeah.
If it,
Okay.
but other than that, I don't believe we have any staff comments on this.
Terrific.
Jim, this is Scott Edmond. A quick question. I'm looking
Yes.
at the aerial on Google, and it looks like there's a bunch of trees along where your fence line that you're going to put in is. Are all those trees
Here?
to remain, or are those trees to go away?
No, they've actually been taken down. A lot of them were dead.
Okay.
The fencing is installed, Scott, just so you, and the display, I don't believe the sheds are out. However, everything else is on site. Is that correct, Jim?
Just the fencing. My fence guy went there and put it up more or less for security reasons, than anything else. But like I said, it's all removable. Everything can be removed.
Terrific. Any questions or comments from commissioners?
Yeah, I have a question. In regard to the outdoor storage, I noticed that there's some like pizza ovens, some snow blowers. Are they staying in that area? Or are you looking to move that? That's all I'm trying to figure out right now.
Well, the equipment is just the equipment's going to be it will be brought inside the building every night, so it would just be out there during business hours.
Right, but that's the area it's going to where it is now is the area it's going to stay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and the I'm not, like I said, the pizza ovens will just be there for like a display. I'm not going to actually store any of that stuff on the property. Those are being stored in New Haven, the pizza ovens, actually.
Is that under the overhang in
Yeah.
this area here?
Yeah, they need to be kept out of the weather and when it's cold out, at least.
Right, and as this is not really accessing any parking in here, this isn't really being used as a driveway
Yeah.
at this point.
It's actually, we were planning on keeping it wide open so people can drive under if it's raining out, or
Okay.
All right.
there's a sidewalk along
I was
the
gonna
building.
say, there's a
there.
bit of a sidewalk under this
Yep.
portion here.
Are there any other questions from commissioners?
Yeah, and just to clarify, you said you're not going to be looking to do any like bulk storage of mulch with front loaders and dump
No.
truck size stuff.
No, everything we do is bagged. That's too much of a mess. You know, it tracks out onto the parking. It creates dust and a mess. And, you know, I'm a neat freak, so it's bagged or nothing else.
Terrific. Any other
No.
questions?
Nope.
All right.
And Jim, deliveries get ordered, they get ordered here and then drop shipped from another location? Is that essentially?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
As this is just a site plan, it's not a public hearing, we don't actually need to seek public comment. Is that correct? Erin?
Correct.
So we'll leave it to the commissioners. Does anyone have any other questions? I have one question for Jim, but it has no bearing on your application. Do you guys service Husqvarna equipment too?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
That's good news for me.
Yeah. Husky, still, anything. It doesn't matter what it is. And, you know, I don't even care if you bought it somewhere else. Yeah, we'll service it.
How about snow blowers?
That's
Yeah.
specific.
Yeah, I sold about 30 of them so far this year, which is
This
been
week?
good for us. I have one left right now, as a matter of fact. I hopefully have 5 more coming in tomorrow.
Exactly. Well,
And seeing we're asking questions unrelated, you guys aren't related to the bakery, are you?
Yeah, that was my my father's cousin Mark and his uncle Sal. Yeah.
nice.
Good.
All
Well,
right.
not too many of us left, unfortunately, Patnitos.
You probably spread wide.
Rich has a,
I've got a PZ question. I read the design review minutes of the 13th of January. In your,
yes,
Jim, you're good to go with their recommendations?
Yeah, so yeah, everything was pretty good. So
yeah, I think they made a motion for recommending approval with the stipulation that the display fencing and the fencing perpendicular to the post road should be gray or white on either plane and not have a checkerboard appearance behind the storage sheds. So yeah, that was the only recommendation.
Terrific. Unless there are further questions from commissioners, would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, sir.
Second.
Go ahead and read it, Alan.
That the Planning and Zoning Commission approve a site plan application for CMI Power and Landscaping Supply, 2392 Boston Post Road, map 78, lot 18, lot 16, for outdoor display and storage of material. This application is approved with the following conditions. And number 1, the application is considered that it is conditional to the design and review committee. And the application is approved based upon the finding that it conforms with the planning and zoning code.
Okay. We have a second.
Second it.
Thank you, sir. Richard Wallace.
Yes.
Call the vote, sorry. Frank DeAndrea,
Yes.
Sean Cosgrove,
Aye.
Scott Edmund,
Yes.
Alan Brown,
Yes,
Amy Stein,
Yes,
and I will also vote yes. I look forward to visiting your establishment, Jim.
thank you. I appreciate it.
You bet.
Thank you, Jimmy.
All right, great. Have a great night, guys.
You too.
Okay, next on our docket is Garrett Sullivan, 439 Boston Post Road, map 49, lot 25, zone TS, site plan application to convert retail play cafe into preschool with installation of associated fence, play yard area, action required or extension needed. Garrett, what do we got? Oh, Garrett, you're muted. Hold on one sec.
Here.
Working on, there
There
you go.
We're good.
All right, so
Okay. With regards to everyone's comments from last week regarding the ADA, I went through that and, Aaron, I don't know if you have the new site plan up there.
What you submitted today, Garrett?
Yes, the one I submitted today. Mhm.
Okay, sure. I know
We can work with that.
unfortunately, I'm not able to rotate it at this point, but this is the building here. Boston Post Road would be on this end here. This is 95 to the north here. This is the paved parking lot.
Correct. So if you notice at the top of the screen, where those slash marks right by number 10, that's going to be the new ADA 13-foot long ramp. I went 1 foot for every inch, which is the ADA ratio. Kim mentioned having access from the parking lot, as well as having access directly from the building, which at the bottom of the screen, you'll notice that's number 5. It's the same exact ramp, 36 inches wide, 13 feet long,
Here.
and it's a rise of 13 inches. So it's the 1:12 ratio, according to ADA. Also, if you'll notice right where that 5 is, it's going to be a 5x5 area. So that's required. Actually, it's going to be more. 5x5 foot area, 60-inch diameter is what's required for ADA compliant landing zone, whether at the start of the ramp or at the finale of the ramp, which you'll notice at the bottom of the screen. That would be the landing into the playground. And the same goes for the one up top as well, which is the parking lot access. You also notice the serpentine going through. According to ADA, they want a rubberized mat, if you will, allowing access for wheelchairs to go through. Since it will be wood chips, you do have the option of maintaining the wood chips and keeping them nice and firm. However, that requires a lot of maintenance. From everything I read on the ADA website, they're more for the rubberized tiles, which is what I mentioned in the new summary as well. With regards to, I believe it was Janice's concern, which I received at 4 p.m. 2 weeks ago, right before that meeting. It was the emergency personnel getting around the building. I reached out to Charlie Hershaft in town via email. He said he had written Janice a letter stating that the fire department had no issues with that, and they were okay with it. I do not have a copy of that. I did ask Charlie for a copy. He assured me it was sent to Janice. That's all I can go by, his emails. Those are the two concerns from last week. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Well, certainly one of the concerns from last week, and the reason it got delayed, was we were hoping for your consideration of a professionally developed site plan. Given the fact that it's hoping to be a childhood center, a school. That was one of the requests and recommendations from town staff. Have you given that some additional consideration?
I've given it some consideration. You know, if there are items that I'm not answering, I'd be happy to attempt to. And if I can't do that, I can certainly reach out to an engineer. I have no problem with that. You know, if there's specific questions rather than blanket statements, which I'm really looking for that. You know, if there are specific questions, specific concerns that can be addressed.
I'm not a licensed, Scott, you might be about as close to a licensed engineer as we have. And I don't know if you are, but.
Never took my test, so I'm not.
That's not what we want to hear, Scott. So obviously, at least part of the reasoning for us asking for a professionally developed site plan is it gives us assurance that all aspects of the plan are code compliant. And again, none of us are licensed engineers. And so that's my concern with respect to, and I appreciate all the work you've put into it, and would very much like it to go through, but that's my concern. So I'll push it out to other commissioners to ask questions and or express their opinions with respect to the site plan and whether or not we feel it needs a professional engineer given the occupancy and location.
I actually have a question for Aaron, or maybe George could answer it. In terms of if this were approved and were to be under construction, what's the oversight from the town in terms of, maintaining that 14 feet, those sort of things? During construction?
Maintaining the drive aisle?
Correct. Or just verify. I think one of Janice's concerns with that was that she wasn't positive about the 14 feet was going to.
The accuracy of dimensions, I thought.
Correct. So is there any oversight from the town in terms of when it's under construction?
If the commission approves this plan, if it doesn't, if these dimensions are not accurate and it can't be built to that, typically we would have a plan that has overall dimensions, and commercial developments would give us an as-built. I guess I'm trying to, it appears there are dimensions. I'm not sure what, like this 31, I'm not sharing my screen here. I apologize. This dimension here, does this go to the building?
Yes.
To the fence line? The dimensions that are on here, you can only measure off what's provided here. I don't believe there's a scale to this drawing.
Sure.
I'd also, what's
Go
that,
ahead.
Scott?
Go ahead. Continue.
Oh, I'd also just let the commission know that this plan has not been reviewed by the building official. This information was dropped off today, and has not been reviewed by town staff. So that is a question that I did discuss earlier with Garrett, was the timing of action by the commission. As you are aware, you have 65 days to act on a site plan application. Failure to act would result in an automatic approval. And today's meeting is the last regularly scheduled meeting within that 65-day window. So given the fact that this information has come in today, if the commission feels, they're looking for comments from staff, Garrett is able to grant the commission an extension for any given amount of time within that 65-day allowed extension. Without an extension, the commission should take action tonight to avoid that, or failure to take action tonight would result in an automatic approval.
So what I'm hearing is, personally, I'd like to have comments from town staff, which we don't have. Garrett, are you willing to grant the commission an extension, or would you like us to try and act on this evening?
I'd like to go back to Scott's question and kind of get an answer on that, because that was actually one of my questions. If this is built with these specs in place, if it's not built with these specs, then it would be shut down or delayed or whatever the case may be, like any other plans out there, professionally engineered or not.
Yeah, I think the question with the engineering question is separate, because it's we don't know for sure whether these dimensions all meet all applicable codes and regulations. I think I'm just trying to get an idea of what the process would be from a town point of view. And then Garrett, I just wanted to ask one more question about this, that outside line.
This?
No, the outside line.
One?
Is that meant for, like, is that the edge of blacktop?
That's an existing curb.
So that's the existing curb for the blacktop that's out there.
Yes.
Okay.
So to follow up on your question, Garrett, that you're you're asking, reiterating what Scott had asked, I find this a challenging plan to confirm that it was built to specs. One, there is no scale on this. We have a dimension here that does not necessarily depict that it's a measurement from the wall to a fence line. And then you have one an unknown number of feet down. This is not a straight line. I have no way of knowing what a dimension from here to the building is, to ensure that there is, an adequate distance here. If you're expecting that staff upon, installation of this is to go out and measure each fence post to the curb to confirm that, I think that's,
I think that was part of my question, Aaron, is that's what's the,
Yeah, you're taking, Garrett, you're taking some risk.
Understood. With the 31 foot line there, that is building to fence line, and the one above it would be fence line to fence line. I mean, in regards to that, if I need to extend the arrow.
Can I just say, this is a rather crude drawing for a children's playground for us to approve. It is.
Okay.
I think that, that's the point that Phil made, and I think the concern we expressed at the last meeting.
So if there aren't any other questions, I'll put the question back to Garrett. Do you want to grant us an extension for a period of time in order to obtain comments from town staff and potentially consider a professional plan, or would you like us to act upon this?
Well, I think we all know where this is going at this point, since there hasn't been one positive comment about it every meeting I've had. Being thrown under the bus doesn't help either. I mean, Janice presented me with a memo at 4:30 the evening of a meeting, and everyone was able to view that, ironically, but mine today at noon, they were not able to view, unfortunately. So probably extending it would be a good idea, I would imagine.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Mhm.
how many days extension are you granting the commission, Garrett?
20.
Where does that put that?
That gives us only one more meeting. Could we go for 30?
Sure.
That would be great.
Can I ask a question?
Please.
So are we doing this just for staff? Is there any thought, Garrett, of actually getting a site plan? I know you expressed, there's some financial constraints with it. Are we going to be looking at the same map or the same drawing?
In all honesty, I don't know. I mean, if this is purely about liability and no one on the commission want to take liability for it, I mean, if that's what it is, please say it, because that's what I've heard. I heard it today at Town Hall South. I've heard it in these meetings. I wish someone would just say it's a requirement at this point, because getting it thrown at me that it's a recommendation, it's a recommendation. I've answered questions. I will look into one. Yes.
Technically speaking, it is a requirement, but we have the ability to waive the requirement. So that's the technicality of it.
yeah, I guess, George, can we only waive the requirement based off of when we're making a decision in the moment? Or is it like, how does that process work? Because it feels like we have to either waive it or not, and that's part of our decision making on the issue.
You'd have to make a vote before you can approve the plan,
Right.
which requires certifying that it conforms to the zoning regulations. You'd have to waive the requirement for a professionally prepared site plan.
Right. So it's
So you
synonymous
could do
with
that
making a
at the
decision.
same time, the same night as you approve the plan.
Is there?
Well, you could, if you voted on the waiver. I'm sorry, if you voted no on a waiver motion, then the applicant would know for sure that they had to prepare a professionally prepared plan if they wanted to approve it, if they wanted it approved, unless you were to change your mind at a future date. So in some ways, it would be more transparent to make a decision on the waiver concept. And then with the extension in hand, the applicant can hire the professional and present it at that extended meeting.
Can we, Phil, can we move for a motion, or are we? just-
Sure. So thank you very much for granting the extension, Garrett. Would someone like to make a motion to continue for 30 days per the applicant's request? And then we can make a motion on waiving the professional developed site plan, and we can have a discussion on that.
Motion to extend the 30-day request.
I'll second.
Thank you. Richard Wallace,
Yes.
Frank DeAndrea,
Yes.
Sean Cosgrove,
Yes.
Scott Edmund,
Yes.
Alan Brown,
Yes,
Jamie Stein,
Yes,
and I will also vote yes. Would someone like to make a motion to either accept or require a professionally developed site plan for our regulations as opposed to waive it?
I'm not sure. Can you state that again?
Sure. So I think what we're asking for now is some transparency so we can give Garrett some guidance on whether or not we would like to waive the professionally developed site plan. i.e. if we don't waive it.
I do not like spending anybody's money, especially in this time. But this isn't just a shed. I would say that I would like to see that professional site plan. This is a little bit, I think this is much more sensitive than other applications that have waived a site plan. So I would like to see a site plan. As much as I hate spending money, Garrett, and I feel for you in business, but this is important.
Yeah, I agree with Frank. I just think granting a waiver without giving Garrett clear guidance about the need for a professional plan is just, pushing the can down the road.
So I guess that's what we're calling. Would
Well,
someone
someone
like to make a motion to?
Someone should make a motion to either approve the request for a waiver or to deny the request for a waiver.
Yeah, I
Make a motion to.
So Frank has a motion to deny. Would someone like to second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Richard. Discussion, and then we'll call a vote. Again, I think if this were a temporary storage trailer without kids in it, that'd be one thing, but it's not. So
Yeah, also it's hard because, like, for instance, the building department, when they are inspecting for building permits, then they are in theory taking responsibility for that building meets code. It's hard for a body like this that's just a representative commission to make a similar judgment on something that's,
I agree.
involving children, for lack of a better word.
We have a motion from Frank to deny the waiver. We have a second from Sean, I believe. Is that correct? Or from Richard, sorry. So I'll call the vote. Richard Wallace,
Yes.
Frank DeAndrea,
Aye.
Sean Cosgrove,
Aye.
Scott Edmund,
Yes.
Alan Brown,
yes.
Jamie Stein,
yes.
and I will also vote yes. Garrett, we would obviously, we will require a professionally developed site plan, and hopefully we can move forward as expeditiously as possible. And thank you for the waiver of the 30 days.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thanks. What else we got, Aaron?
We have John Pruitt and his client. I thought I saw Cy here. He must not be on. John Pruitt is representing Ayutthaya Mexe LLC, Ayutthaya Restaurant, looking for a site plan application to convert existing gym and office space into a restaurant use.
Okay, so that technically it's Mex, what is it, Mex A LLC, 965
Yes.
Boston Post Road, map 46, lot 124A, zone PV. Site plan change for use from retail to restaurant and office to residential. Receive action required by 4/7/21.
And really, the site plan changes on the site are fairly minimal. It's what triggered this review. And John, I'll share the screen, John, and if you'd like to take it away with your presentation, go ahead.
So, hey, John, for the record, if you could just state your name and address, that would be terrific.
John Pruitt. I'm an architect practicing in Guilford, Connecticut, 161 Peddlers Road in Guilford, Connecticut. And I am the project's architect and owner's representative.
Thank you.
The first exhibit was a site plan which my office drew based upon a survey that was taken maybe a couple of years ago. Basically, what it is showing is that the existing facilities on site are remaining. There really is no addition to the existing two-story building. The main change in the site plan is to screen 2 roll-off bins, one which is a recycling bin and the other one which is a trash bin from street view by constructing a 5-foot-high fence with a gate, which basically is 6 feet wide, double-acting swing gate, which would allow for access to these 2 trash bins. The proposal basically is to change the existing first floor, which currently is a cycling studio, into a restaurant. Basically, it's a basic restaurant. We propose a couple of toilets. We propose a full service kitchen. There is a bar function and seating for 32 seats. That's 28 in the dining area and 4 in the bar area. Basically, the kitchen consists of equipment which Cy currently has in his current restaurant and will be relocated. And we're also going to have a walk-in freezer and food storage facilities. The second floor plan is currently office. We're going to have a private dwelling unit up there, and which Cy is going to use for his own personal purposes, and a private office, which could either be his or something that he might lease out to others. As far as accessibility, the first floor restaurant is accessible to and usable by disabled persons according to ANSI A117.1. So we've covered that base. We did have a few comments from staff thus far. Yes. One having to do with the fire marshal's comment that he was going to look into the need for automatic fire protection system. I had sent out a recent email to planning and zoning with a response to that, citing a section of the building code. It appears, in my professional opinion, that we do not meet the 3 criteria that would make us provide an automatic fire protection system. However, an automatic fire protection system by Ansel is required and will be provided over the entire cooking area. That is the stoves, the fryers, etc., because code does require that. Other than that, that's pretty much it for my presentation. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions that staff might, that zoning people might have.
We actually have a memo from Sonia Marino. Jamie, you want to take that one? Oh, Jamie's muted.
Sorry, my son is going to bed and being loud. Here we go. To planning and zoning from Sonia Marino, RSMPH dated February 3rd, 2021, regarding 965 Boston Post Road, Guilford, Connecticut, change of use. The health department is working with the applicant to establish the maximum amount of sewage flow allowed for the above referenced establishment. Based on the actual septic system installed in 1999, the gallons per day allowed for the building served is 966 gallons per day. If the applicant wants to increase beyond the allocated GPD, then installation of additional leaching will be required. The current application calls for a 32-seat food service establishment, a one-bedroom apartment and office space. Based on the technical standard, the use stated above would equate to approximately 1,130 gallons per day. To see if we can maximize the flow, the applicant is obtaining a year's worth of water use data from his current establishment. This may help increase the amount of seating for the establishment allowed. The application can be approved, but the design flow needs to be adjusted. The health department will work with the applicant to adjust the flows. Approval is contingent on the use remaining at or below 966 gallons per day or installation of additional leaching.
That makes sense, John?
I'll say for the record that I did receive this particular memo and I reviewed it. And whatever the commission wants to do with it, I certainly am not taking exception to it at this time.
Mr. Chairman, so the few comments that came back from town staff, this comment from Sonia, as well as there were two comments from Jim Considine, Fire Marshal. One was that that he needed to verify with code that it didn't, the number of seats and the service of alcohol didn't trigger the need for a sprinkler system. And second, he needed to verify the location of the hood venting for coding. All three of these concerns don't really affect the site plan approval and can be ironed out prior to the issuance of any building permits. So staff, even though this is a receipt today, we didn't really feel there was a need to continue this further, waiting for that clarification.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any questions from commissioners with respect to the site plan change?
My only question is, the parking's adequate, grease trap is adequate?
Yes, apparently there was a restaurant use in this property, that the septic system was actually designed for a 40-seat restaurant at the time. I think it was 1999. I don't know, John, if you happen to know, you can correct me. But there is a grease trap already designed in the system. So there wasn't any need for that additional in the building. So
That's right, I remember that.
What was the restaurant, Frank? Do you remember? Did they?
I do.
Here we go.
Do you want to know what it was?
Yeah.
It was a Starbucks.
Oh, wow.
There.
really?
It was, and it was, I think Russo owned the property at the time.
And then Starbucks moved down the road?
Something like that.
I remember when it was a real
Oh,
estate.
and Frank, you were sad to see them go.
Oh, Frank, you smiled the whole way, buddy.
I thought they were
And I know.
across from Big Y,
Yeah,
Starbucks.
They were subsequent.
That was after this?
Yeah, yes. That was that predated them back then.
I didn't know that.
I remember when it was Beasley Realty.
Wow. Well, actually, Sonia did say that this location is a great improvement over the existing location where Ayutthaya is with respect to the septic system. So that's a good thing.
Would someone like to make a motion?
I have it here, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Voted that the Guilford Planning and Zoning Commission approve a site plan application for a restaurant and residential use for Mexe LLC at 965 Boston Post Road, map 46, lot 124A, as shown on a plan prepared by John Cruitt, AIA, dated today. Aaron?
Oh, 1 second, I apologize. January 21st, 2021.
Dated 1/21/21. The application is approved that it conforms with the zoning code? Or the
Correct. And I would
conditions?
just, yeah, recommend that.
Sonia's recommend conditions.
Right.
Good.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion? I think it's great.
Oh, I apologize. John did meet with the design review committee also, just so you didn't think that. And the design review committee had no comments from the design.
That's unusual. Terrific. So we have unless there's further discussion, we have a motion. We have a second. I'll call the vote on approval of the site plan. Richard Wallace,
Aye.
Frank DeAndrea. Thank you. Sean Cosgrove,
Yes.
Scott Edmund,
Yes.
Alan Brown,
Yes.
Jamie Stein.
Yes.
I will also vote to approve. Terrific. Enjoy. We look forward to enjoying your restaurant.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, John.
Everything else seems to
Minutes.
be done, right?
Yes, we are on to minutes.
I have a quick question, if you don't mind. I don't know if this is out of order or not, but the previous one that we just deliberated on, the site plan had a sidewalk on it. And I was curious whether we were supposed to require CMI to do a sidewalk on the previous application or not.
That is an existing site plan. There are no sidewalks on that side.
Right. But as we discussed a few meetings back, if everybody remembers,
Mexico.
the fact that there isn't a sidewalk connecting isn't necessarily a thing. Like, we need to try to continue to enforce sidewalks. I just don't know if it's our purview to like realize that and require it or not going forward. Because if so, then I'll just try to make a mental note and bring it up every time it happens.
I think for, right, like across the street for,
Across the street from
Guilford,
Anthony's, I just
Mexico,
looked on
when
the
there was-
aerial. There is a sidewalk that doesn't go to anywhere. But
Right.
again, that's not the point. The point is to gradually get sidewalks built up over time. I don't know, is there like a town staff that should be noticing that issue, or is it
Often
purely-
Janice makes that recommendation as the town
Okay.
engineer.
I just don't know what
And
the
that was-
process is trying
We'll
to,
make it incumbent upon you to bring that to our attention from now on.
well, I mean, we can just tell the Safe Streets people that they need to pay attention to what's going on at P and Z, I guess, but.
Okay.
Anyway, sorry.
It's okay. Did anyone have a chance to review the minutes?
I did, and they appear substantially correct.
Great. So I assume you would make a motion to approve them?
So moved.
Second.
I will vote to approve them. Jamie Stein.
I'm going to abstain because I didn't attend the last meeting.
Okay.
Yes.
Alan Brown. Alan, you probably have to abstain too, because I think you
Yeah,
were
he
out
wasn't here either.
MIA too.
Yeah, I abstain.
Thank you, sir. Scott Edmund,
Yes.
Sean Cosgrove,
Yes.
Frank DeAndrea.
That's a solid yes.
All right. And then Richard Wallace.
Yes.
Good. With no further business before the commission, would someone like to make a motion to adjourn?
You mind if I make one more question? Have
Sure.
we had a resolution on when we're meeting to talk about the changes to the
Regulations.
zoning code?
Yeah,
We did talk about that briefly last week, or
Right.
at the last meeting, and many of you weren't here. I thought it was that the commission had, well,
I
so
think we said
to,
we were like once a month we were gonna do either before or after the meeting. Is that right, Phil?
Well,
right,
I kind of thought that starting at 6 o'clock with a hard stop at 7:30 was a better plan.
Right.
to kind of go
I
with.
guess I was just curious if we had decided on which date we were gonna do that.
I thought you had mentioned the second meeting of the month. So potentially it could be at the next meeting if we were ready. I think we'll kind of have to see how it goes to start out in this plan from 6 to 7:30, because you're going to have a hard stop. And if you're in the middle of a section for discussion, so it could go either way. It could keep everybody on track and move you along, or you may end up getting cut off in the middle of a discussion to start the meeting. So that's something just to consider, whether or not you wanted one meeting. It doesn't necessarily have to occur in the evenings either. I don't know what the rest of the commission, your availabilities, but that's,
When are we proposing the first meeting on this?
Is
Next
our consultant gonna be ready for next meeting?
we might be able to have some information, and we may actually start off. George, correct me if I'm wrong. I thought Glenn said we would start off with the subdivision regs,
That's what he said. That's what. George
bringing
said
them
last week.
forward, right?
You're muted.
Yeah, I can't hear you. Oh, you are muted.
You're also in super slow mode.
If we,
I
If
know.
we
Why
finish
did
up
it
with-
drags for
we have
you?
a meeting
George?
with Glenn on Friday. What's that?
You're
If we
you kinda
finish on
drag
Friday, we should be okay to go next 7.
for subdivision regs. Okay.
So that would
Yeah,
be
yeah.
our meeting of
17th.
17th of February.
So we'd have to, I think we're gonna have to advertise a special meeting from 6 to 7:30 with the discussion of, discussion of the subdivision code. The subdivision code, introducing that is a good taste of, how we've kind of restructured things, and it's a little easier to get into with less actual technical changes than we did in the
If
zoning.
Glenn's
reg.
got some materials he can distribute in advance of that meeting, I think that would help.
We will.
Okay.
We will, absolutely. So we're meeting right now this week with both Kevin and Janice to go through some of their final comments on the subdivision regs. We weren't able to finish up on Tuesday, so we're meeting on Friday. So I think that Glenn hopefully will be able to get those revisions put into the regs for next week, and we can get those out to
2
you.
weeks.
Right, but hopefully he could finish up next week so that at least we can get them to you so you could look at them before the meeting.
And I think George or Aaron, one of you mentioned that town council would be involved at some point. Was that part of these meetings, or is that later after? it
Yep,
goes, like,
so
the
Chuck
first council?
Andres we did meet with him. He did a legal review on the subdivisions and actually emailed us a draft, a marked up version of some areas he had concerns with. So Glenn is incorporating those comments and changing some things now. So yeah, this version that you'll see has already gone through all of town staff and town council.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Do we have a motion and a second to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you. By a show of
Second.
thank you. By a show of hands, all in favor of adjourning? It is approved by unanimous consent. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
Good night.
Take care.